Hey guys, I know it's a little late. It's about 2 days late. I just wanted to give my recap of being at Mobile Masters. I was there live, and I just wanted to give my opinions, my experiences of being there live. It was a great, for me personally, it was a great event. 5 hours of Summoners War, watching people play Summoners War was good. Having the community out there, the Summoners War community, is just such a small community. It's such a great thing out there. I've been to a lot of live events before. But the good thing right now with Summoners War, at least for my standpoint, was the contestants were very open to meeting with the fans here. There was roughly, I would say, about 150, 200 people there at the event, fan-wise, and not even all of them were Summoner War fans. Just for some background, the event was at KCON. KCON is basically an outdoor event where you can see Korean boy bands. It's like if anyone's been to an outdoor festival like Vans Warped Tour or something like that, it's kind of like that just for Korean pop. It was in New Jersey. It was about 90 degrees outside, and the event was inside an outdoor tent that was air conditioned. So a lot of the people that were in the building there were not even someone who were fans. They were just people looking to escape the heat, but there was about 150 to 200 people there. So that's a pretty decent turnout. But because there's about 150 200 people, let's just say, and realistically the contestants were able to interact with the fans when they were not participating, and I think that's pretty cool that you actually got to shake their hands, actually sit and talk with them. I personally got to take photos with YDCB, Shredded. I sat and talked with Island Grown for about 5 minutes during the fights out there. I stood next to Riona for a little bit, chatted with her a little bit. Um, I got Zero Bit sat next to me during the whole finals, and we were just talking about our opinions on the finals, what we should have been doing, and that's the kind of one-on-one interaction that we got with these contestants. And the only ones I didn't really get to spend any time with was Cooper and Foy and Jiraiya, and that was because Jiraiya I didn't know anything about, and I didn't go out of my way to meet and greet with him. And Foy and Cooper were obviously constantly in the fights. They were the ones who went to the finals out there, and they were obviously busy with other things, planning for their fights or something like that. But these events were, I mean, just the fan interaction, one-on-one meeting with a lot of these people was obviously really good. At least for someone like me who's fans of these people, I spend hours a day watching their videos, their content anyway, on their Twitch channels, and the fact that they just stood out there, actually hung out with the fans. They didn't have to. They could have been backstage behind us, sitting in the air conditioned room and doing whatever they wanted to do. But they actually came out here, met with the fans, sat with us, and talked with us. And I don't think you get that in too many other of these live events, even for other video games. Something like Hearthstone. The streamers are so large that they can't meet with a lot of their fans one on one like some of the wars people were able to do. I think that was huge. For the event itself, Amazon gave out a ton of crap. Again, like I said, there's about 150 people there. They gave out, I want to say, about 20 tablets, 10 Amazon dots, about 10 jerseys, the ones that the players were wearing, and it could have been even more than that. So there was a good chance you could have got something free. They also gave out an LD pack. They gave a Devilmon pack out, a legendary pack too. So they gave out some stuff, but most of it was geared more towards the Amazon stuff because they're promoting their stuff. Perfectly fine. And these things that I'm talking about, the tablets are, I think, $150, $200 tablets. The Amazon dots are $70, $80. Jerseys or whatever that is. That's promotional stuff. But the dots themselves, it's not like they're giving out cheap stuff. They're giving out expensive stuff. I honestly would have easily said Amazon gave away probably close to like $5,000 worth of goods out there. And again, out to between 150 people, 30 something objects going out there is a decent amount of money to be spending out onto a relatively small fan base out there. I thought that was really nice. That was really cool of them, and they didn't have to. No one expected it. but that was also a really nice thing. My thoughts on the tournament itself, uh, I felt the competition level was a little bit off. There was obviously big tier differences. I felt before, and I didn't know this before, but Cooper, Foix, and YDCB, I think, were the top level tier, and then Island Grown, Shredded, Riona, and Zero Bet, I think, were in second tier, and Dryer was in a tier all by himself on the bottom. And nothing against him, he knows what he was out there. I think we all understood why he was brought out there, just to bring the fan base to have something out there. It wasn't purely off skill, and obviously, even far as a high end play, he's not the best in our tier right now. There are probably a couple of dozen players that are better than him, ranked higher than him, and if it was obvious, this wasn't a tournament to show out the best. It was a tournament to show out the best personalities, and to get interest into the game. It's not to show who was the best player in the game. I think that perfectly fine. It was marketed like that. They never tried to say it was the tournament for the best players. They just wanted to bring interest to the game. I think they did a really good job of that. Obviously, they had close to 30,000 people watching on Twitch, and that destroyed what the other two games did combined, Hearthstone and Vanguard, even though they're larger streaming games generally. The viewership for Summoners Wars destroyed it, so that was a good plus. So I think we will see these things in the future. Things where I think they dropped the ball on this is they have with a mobile game out there, they have the unique situation of having more fan interaction than they did during this tournament here. There was a lot of downtime between matches, and they filled that gap with dungeon runs. It was kind of interesting, some of it. It was exciting when the last run, when Shredded was trying to beat in that Necro run, just to get in before Zero Bit's run, and the couple of seconds that was pretty exciting. But overall, the dungeon runs I thought was boring. Even watching it live, generally outside of just saying, watching YDCB's Lucian not amp until the very last hit, or watching Riona's Galleon derp like 4 different times. Things like that were heartbreaking, but I don't think it was that, no one was really into watching dungeon runs. But they could have filled that gap in a little bit better, I think. What I thought would have been more interesting was something along the lines as maybe have interactions with the contestant in the random person who's at the event face one of the contestants out there who lost him, and you can fight there for a prize. Like, you could have won a tablet if you beat Riona one-on-one, or if you beat Shredded one-on-one. It would have something like that. I think they had a unique opportunity to do something like that where other games don't have that opportunity. You can't just really just bring someone up out there and have the unique of having your own account versus a known player's account. Again, I don't think they should have done something like you get into the tournament along those lines. That would have been a little bit crazy out there, but just little prizes could have been something like that. I think it would have been more interesting to watch a random person at the tournament there, just from the fan base face some of these players. That would have been more interesting than watching dungeon runs. That's just my opinion. That's something they could have done. The tournament format itself. I can see that why people, a lot of people are saying it's not an esport. There's, violent talks are an issue, and that's going to be changed for season 2. There were a couple of thoughts I thought about, maybe not evening the field, but making it more fair, because right now there's such a large range of what units could be ruined on. Like, you can't tell someone built their Sierra, and I'm just using Sierra as an example, super fast, super tanky, crit rate damage. There's like 100 different. Maybe Sierra is not the best example. Okeanos. Okeanos was that perfect example. And I think this, was really nice. Cooper Trooper built his on Swift insanely fast, and that pretty much shocked everyone. I think one thing we could possibly do is have the units locked in before the tournament starts, so that you can't change runes in between. I don't know if that was happening, but that's something I would like to know. If what your runes were now, you don't want it to be changed. Half an hour before round 2, before round 3. You kind of want your units locked in. We want to have. I would like to see that, and I think it would be nice to see what your stats are. That way you can actually have a little bit more planning beforehand. You can know, you have a better idea what you're going up against. You have more strategy banning wise. You can, you know, have a little bit more strategy instead of just going in kind of blind. And I think if you do, no, if you have to release your stats of your units, stats only, not rune sets, just the stats. So you can, basically the most important things I think people will be looking at are who are the main attackers out there, how fast, who are the fastest units, where they are, and how much hit points some of them have. It's to kind of even the playing field because and it's, I think if that's all set, you can't say, oh, I know you have a 280 speed Okeanos and my Wusas is 281, so I can bring it before, and you know how to counter that. But you can't go in there like, okay, let me go change the runes to make it faster, so I know I can be faster than it. So it has to be set beforehand, and it has to be set during the whole tournament. That's one thing I think could be a possible way to, again, not even out. It also would help the viewership because I would like to know what the units are that are being picked out there. I still have no idea what the rune sets for any of the contestants were. I don't know how fast these units are. I don't know the stats on there. I can probably look up some of these units if they haven't changed their runes back to what they normally use anyway. But, that's something I think could help viewership a little bit from the fan standpoint of just knowing what's going on. I think another thing they could possibly do is maybe limit the amount of units you bring to the tournament. So even though you have a box of 150 units, maybe you have to have a preset of 25, maybe 30 units that you bring into the fight, and these are the only units you can use instead of having a huge box of 150 units or 200 units that they have. Obviously you're going to ruin your best units, but it also, again, limits the strategy a little bit. I mean, gives the idea so you condense of what you know. You just want to have more information about your opponent. So I think something like that can help. It's kind of like if you take something like Hearthstone beforehand, you know your opponent's decks beforehand. You know what's in it. That doesn't mean you know exactly how to counter everything in there, but you at least have, what tools he has, and you know how to counter it a little bit. Those are possible ideas I was thinking about bringing out there. Other ways I was thinking about trying to balance it out could have been if when you win your fight, any units that you use in that fight, you can't use in the next round, in the same round, the next part of that fight. So if you win the first fight and you had Wusar, Veligil, whatever on your team, those units that you used to win would not be available for your next fight, but the opponents that lost would still have this full arsenal of units out there. That way, that puts a little bit more strategy about what units you're using. Maybe you want to save certain units to counter a certain time. You want to make sure you're saving it for the right time. It's something like that that could add a little bit more strategy to the game, but I'm not sure if that's what really work out or not. Just let me know what you guys think. Are these ideas a little bit too crazy? Is it a little bit unbalanced? Is it unfair? I don't know. It's just something I'm thinking about. How to improve the tournament out there for the future, how to make it more balanced. These are what I thought. Just leave a comment below. Let me know what you think, if you think this is just bad ideas or not. But overall, I want to say Mobile Masters was a huge hit for me going live. It was a lot of fun. I got to, like I said, I got to hang out with a lot of the streamers out there. They all took time out of the day. Childish took photos with us, chatted with me for like 10 minutes or so. This was after he had, doing 6 hours of streaming, running back and forth, dressed up in a nice suit, uncomfortable as hell. I met with a lot of other people out there. I met from a couple of people from Malicious out there. I met I met Nick DeGreek out there, outside, so it was a nice, again, small community. A lot of people were out there together. And, anytime these events come up in the future, if you're in the area, I would highly recommend you go out there. It was just a really fun day to be out there, and it's just something that's really good. Again, let me know what you guys think. If you want to know any more information, please hit me up on Twitch or on YouTube. Just leave a comment. I will definitely respond to anything. And just wanted to. Oh, by the way, just one other thing I want to. The one piece of swag I did get out of the tournament out here was this. It's the fidget spinners, and these things are freaking awesome. I just wanted to show that off a bit. I don't know why, but I will leave you off with that as I go. All right, guys, have a good night.